Hey guys, SOLIDFPS here, and in this video I'll be going over the latest updates to my Technomancer DPS build. Technomancers got hit by the most recent bounce patch, and my build has also improved through the newest mods and gear I've collected and tested, so there's quite a few new things to cover. At the time of this video, this is what all my best solo times look like in endgame, challenge tier 15 expeditions, and these were all accomplished with this build. Like always, I'll be carrying some of the same relevant information forward from my older Technomancer videos into this video, so that's all in one place. Labeled section the timestamps should be in the video description. That said, let's get right into it. This is the Technomancer's class tree. All four classes have their trees set up so that gun DPS bonuses are at the top, support bonuses are in the middle, and skill DPS bonuses are at the bottom. Since this is a gun-based DPS build, we'll want to focus our attention to the pestilence section at the top. The Technomancer starts with 15% additional long-range weapon damage, 15% skill leech, and 15% weapon leech. Your melee skill also freezes nearby enemies. This class is meant for long range and stays alive by continuously doing damage due to leech. It doesn't get health on kill like the other classes. One of the strongest nodes in the top tree is this node, which makes it so that when we apply toxic to enemies, they also receive vulnerability. This synergizes perfectly with the Technomancer's Blighted Around skill, which we'll talk about later. As of the most recent balance patch, vulnerability now makes enemies take 15% more damage, but when you take a single mark for execution node in the Technomancer class tree, that enhances the effect by 40%, which means that our vulnerability will make enemies take 21% more damage. This section of the in-game guide is currently out of date. I definitely recommend picking up both of these long-range reduction nodes. Long range is normally 18 meters and beyond, but with these two nodes, it'll be 12 meters instead. This will allow you to play more aggressively and still benefit from this powerful multiplier. Another strong pickup is this node up here for 20% more weapon damage with assault weapons. It also helps increase drop rates for assault weapons, so we should have slightly better odds of finding weapon upgrades or possibly helping us get one of our key tier 3 mods that is found on a legendary double gun. More on mods later. Our next big pickup gives us another 20% damage multiplier at the cost of taking 15% more damage. This class is meant to keep its distance due to long range damage multipliers, so that downside of this node doesn't really matter. Another damage multiplier we can dip into through the class tree is damage to toxic. As of the most recent balance patch, our top tree gives us a total of 25% damage to toxic with these two nodes. The final node in the Pestilence tree gives us and our team 40% weapon damage whenever we use a decay skill. We'll be taking advantage of this every time we throw at our blighted turret. And since there's not much else of value in this tree, we'll use our last point to grab this node up here for a passive 12% anomaly power boost. Moving on to Technomancer's skills, we're maining blighted rounds and filling our other two skill slots with some utility by bringing cold snap and blighted turret. Blighted rounds are the core reason why a gun DPS Technomancer can work as well as it does. This skill makes our gun apply toxic on demand, which synergizes with our class tree picks, enabling our toxic and vulnerability multipliers. Our bullets also gain a bit of AoE damage, which helps spread toxic and vulnerability. Most importantly, it converts our physical gun damage to anomaly damage, which means that enemy armor isn't something we have to worry about anymore. Cold Snap is our get out of jail free card. As soon as you use it, all nearby enemies are frozen, and its base area of effect is actually quite amazing. Blighted Turret is our decoy deployable, which can aggro enemies to it, and also a fantastic source of damage due to our class tree. It has an amazingly low cooldown, which ensures we can reposition it, and refresh 40% damage buff for 100% uptime. Early into the game, you'll mostly find and use tier 1 mods. Since the first thing we have to accomplish with this build is making sure blighted rounds are active for as long as possible, we'll be using this tier 1 trick up the sleeve mod. As long as we keep killing enemies, we'll never have to reload. If we never reload, the skill remains active. Later in the game, you'll start finding tier 2 mods on epic gear and tier 3 mods on legendaries. You'll eventually want to switch your ammo replenishment mod to toxic lead, since it gives more back on kill. Due to the fact that this game is peer-to-peer, if you're not host, there could be a lot of desync, so if you're noticing that you're not getting your ammo back in multiplayer, switch back to your tier 1 ammo mod, it's more reliable. For other starter tier 1 mods we can use while progressing, I recommend Spare Mag, Critical Analysis, Ice Component, and Long Winter in that order. Once you find stronger tier 2 mods, feel free to start dropping these mods from your build. spare mag is there to give us a second chance at keeping our gun buff during combat if we can't secure enough kills to get ammo back. Critical analysis gives us another 15% critical damage with blighted rounds. Ice component converts our blooded turret into a freeze turret, which actually makes it feel like a more reliable cryo turret on a low cooldown. Long winter dramatically improves the radius of cold snap to cover almost an entire zone. Once you start finding tier 2 mods on epic gear, it'll be time to start dropping the tier 1 starter mods you have sitting in your blue gear. Tier 2 DPS mods to look out for include Bloodlust, Crit Stack, and Radical Therapy. With 1 ammo mod and 3 DPS mods in your starter build, I also recommend adding in a defensive mod. Tier 2 defensive mods to look out for include Emergency Stance, Mitigation from Death, and Damage Absorber. Emergency Stance is currently bugged right now in a way that favors the player by staying active permanently. You'll notice a shield buff icon sitting over your health bar at all times when it bugs. Once that's patched, I recommend switching to Mitigation from Death. Once you progress deeper into the game and have started to get your legendary collection rolling, there are quite a few good tier 3 mods to work into your build. Tier 3 DPS mods to look out for include Sharp Eye, Euthanizer, and Splash Boost. These mods can be found on different legendary Technomancer set pieces. 2 other tier 3 mods I recommend for elite and boss damage are Kingslayer and Captain Hunter. These are found on universal legendaries like the helmet shown here and on cannonball gloves. The ideal weapon variant for this build is the tactical assault rifle variant. Even though they reduce this gun's base crit multi by 10%, it's still incredibly powerful and synergizes extremely well with this build. I won't even bother recommending other assault weapons because I'd be wasting your time. As for weapon mods, there are only a couple that stand out to me. Tier 2 Resistance Breaker and Anomaly Enhancement both seem decent for single target DPS. However, Tier 2 Bone Shrapnel is what you really want. This thing will dramatically increase your clear speed in endgame expeditions, so use it while you can because I wouldn't be surprised if this thing makes its way into a future balance patch. As for Tier 3 weapon mods, the one I consider the best is Killing Spree, which gives up to 75% more damage. It can be found on the Amber Vault double gun. Another one that can be strong, but I don't personally use, is Embalmer's Rage, which can be found on the High Roller shotgun. That one lets you crit on every shot after a kill for 5 seconds. Our final set of gear will be all epic with 5 tier 2 mods and 5 tier 3 mods, with all pieces rolled with firepower, close range damage, and long range damage. Currently there are no legendary armor sets that fit our requirements. Our ideal weapon will be an epic tactical assault rifle rolled with crit damage, close range damage, long range damage, tier 2 bone shrapnel, and tier 3 killing spree. Currently there are no legendary tactical assault rifles that fit our requirements. Make sure to keep all green and blue armor pieces with these stats for crafting in the endgame. You can take them to the crafting guy and gamble on them by improving rarity to score random tier 2 mods in slots where they are normally not allowed to drop. If you have the Hell's Rangers DLC, the blue level 10 assault rifle automatically comes with bone shrapnel. You can farm these for higher firepower rolls by making new characters, skipping the prologue, and running through the first mission until you can access your stash. Once you can access your stash, you can take the AR out of your inbox and store it in your stash. Then, you can go to your main character and switch the weapon variant to tactical. When this happens, the base firepower will change. If this number is really high, like let's say it's over 370, when you upgrade the gun to level 50 and then improve it to epic, it should have a firepower of around 90 to 95,000. Since Hell's Ranger gear can't be deconstructed, just move the item back to your throwaway character and then delete them along with the item. These are my current stats and gear at the time of this video. At this point, I'm only missing 10% close range damage on my gun and better base firepower and armor rolls to truly max him out. I'm currently using a Hell's Ranger tactical AR at 94,000 firepower with Killing Spree and Bone Shrapnel. I have Sharp Eye and Bloodlust in my helmet, Captain Hunter and Mitigation from Death in my chest, Kingslayer and Radical Therapy in my pants, Euthanizer and Crit Stack in my gloves, Flash Boost and Toxic Lead in my boots. As always, it's time for another numbers check. To summarize things I'll get into technical, almost every source of damage in this game has a multiplicative effect on the final damage number you see in game. This means that diversifying your stats across many applicable damage types will result in those big juicy numbers that we all love to see. With that said, my build right now with all mods and buffs active should be peaking at about 1.1 million up close and 1.5 million out far. We now have more AoE damage due to bone shrapnel and splash boost, which we can't calculate here, but we can definitely see the impact it has on our clear speed and gameplay. Anyways, hope y'all found this video useful. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe or swing by my Twitch stream when I'm live. For the remainder of this video, I will be running the Coliseum Expedition in under 6 minutes on challenge tier 15 while using this build. Enjoy.
Who the hell are you? And now they think I'm falling for this painfully obvious trap. What a bunch of clowns. These creatures. You're not feral maniac sport. to the monsters, but that maniac isn't too happy about it. Here we go. Not a bad shot. Maybe you'll finally shut up now. The pod is ours.
Outrider detected. Access granted.